All right, so today for our Algebra 1 class, we're going to be going over 1.5 and 1.6 in one day in one lesson. All right, so let's get started and talk about addition and subtractions and about how they work on the number line, okay? Now, I believe that most of us could probably, add or subtract now pretty well, but we're going to be talking about it in some number line stuff. So if we look at part A, we have 3 plus 5, okay? So what's the first number you see? 3. So what I'm going to do is on this number line, I'm going to go to 3 right here, okay? And then the question says plus 5. Which way does it seem natural to you guys that is the plus side? Right, seems natural, right? It's the plus side. So if I start at 3, adding 5 is basically taking 5 jumps. And where do we end up? 8, right? That's it, okay? Now, looking at B, right? Again, starting at the 3, okay? From there, we're adding a negative 5, right? Which way makes you guys think the negative direction? Left, right? Which seems like backwards. We're going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 2. Okay? Where am I going to be starting at for C? Negative 3. Which direction am I going to be going? Right. And how many? 5. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one, we start at negative 3. And we go which direction? How many spots?
5.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 8. Oh, this one was 2. All right? Not bad, right? Okay. Basically, the biggest thing that we want to get through to you guys today is the fact that 3 minus 5 is the same thing as what? 3 plus a negative 5. Okay? So that's what I want to get through to you today, that you could write a minus sign as a plus and negative number. Okay? All right. Now, we're also going to be talking about absolute value, which looks like that's 2 straight lines, right, on either side of a number or a variable like that. And absolute value means distance from 0. Okay, have you guys dealt with absolute value signs before?
Yes.
Yeah, and what does the absolute value do to a number? Makes it positive, right? If it's a positive number, it leaves it alone. If it's a negative number, it makes it positive, right? Now, that makes sense because if we talk about it as being a distance, right? Is the distance ever negative? No, it's always positive. Right? So we look at absolute value of 4. What's the absolute value of 4? Yeah, positive 4. It stays the same. What's the absolute value of negative 4? 4. If you look at those two numbers, they're there, right? How far is negative 4 from 0? 1, 2, 3, 4. How far is 4 from 0? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Both 4 from 0. So we think about absolute value as being distance from 0, and they always make them positive. Right? Now we're going to be talking about something called an opposite. Right? When we talk about opposites in numbers, same number, but they have different signs. Okay, same numbers, but different signs, like 5 and negative 5. Okay? So what's the opposite? If it's 5 and negative 5, what's the opposite of 10? Negative 10, good. What's the opposite of 7? Negative 7. What's the opposite of pi? Negative pi. What's the opposite of negative 2.34? There you go. It's positive 2.34. Right? Opposite signs. opposites are used as additive inverses. Okay, those are two numbers that you add together and they get 0. Okay. So all of those opposites, if you added them together, would equal what?
0.
Yeah, they all add to 0, right? 10 plus a negative 10 is? 0. 7 plus a negative 7? Pi plus a negative pi? Negative 2.34 plus 2.34? 0. All equals 0, okay? All right. That is it for adding and subtracting, right? So let's recap what we covered, right? Adding and subtracting integers, right? They're just, counting either ahead or back, depending on if they're positive or negatives, right? What's a subtraction sign equal to? Adding adding the negative number, right? So let's do that right here. So let's say 2 subtract 4. What's 2 subtract 4 equal to? 2 plus a negative 4, right? Okay, good. What's absolute value sign do? Distance from 0, and it's always positive. What was the last thing we covered? Oh, what's opposites? Same number, different signs. And then opposites and additive inverses are the same, right? Same thing, right? If you add two opposites, it'll equal 0. Okay, good. Now, we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing real numbers. One thing about multiplying and dividing is how do you tell if it's going to be a positive number, positive answer, or a negative answer? Okay. And the answer is, if you have two that are same signs, the answer is going to be positive. And we know that from negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive, right? Same sign, positive answer. Different signs, negative answer. Okay? And that can be like negative 2 times a positive 3. Different, right? Or a 2 times a negative 3 is negative 6, right? Opposite signs make negative. Okay. So, knowing that, let's really quick, before we solve all these, just tell what the sign's going to be, okay? So A, what's the sign going to be? B, C, and D. Positive, right? That's a little number, so it's supposed to be negative 3 squared. What's negative 3 squared? Yeah, for those of you that, my font isn't very good, but that 2 is supposed to be an exponent. This one? Well, negative 3 squared, right, that's supposed to be a squared, like a little number up there, right? So that means negative 3 times negative 3, same sign, positive answer. Okay, so A, now all we have to do is what's 12 times 8? 96. There you go. What's 24 times 0.5? 12. What's 3/4 times 1/2? You guys remember how to multiply fractions? Top number times top number. Bottom number times bottom number. Way easier than adding fractions. Last one, it's a positive what? 9. Okay, now we're going to talk about square roots. All right, remember square root is the opposite of a square, so it's working backwards. So what is this one here going to be? Well, the negative sign, right, gets to come over there, so there's the negative sign.
5.
And 5, square root of 25 is 5. All right. Now this one has a weird symbol, doesn't it? You guys know what that symbol is? There you go. It's two symbols put together. It means plus or minus, right? And that's exactly how you say it. You just say plus or minus. right? And then square root of a fraction. Do you guys remember how to do square root of a fraction?
Yes.
What's the square root of the top number? 2. What's the square root of the bottom number? 7. And our answer is read as plus or minus 2 over 7. Okay? So that just means plus or minus, which means on B, how many answers do I have?
You have
2. This many, right? 2. One of them is a positive 2/7. The second one is a negative 2/7. So this is just a shortcut way to write, 2/7 and negative 2/7. Okay, it's a shortcut way.
So we're answering that, we just put a plus and
That's how I would do it because it's easier that way, right? I'm just letting you guys know that it's actually 2 different answers written together. Okay. Now, dividing real numbers is easy because it uses the same rule as multiplying, right? Same sign, they're going to be what? Different signs? Negative, okay? Good. Now let's think about this. What is 4 divided by 0? Everybody said 0? Wrong.
4.
Everybody said 4 and 1 is wrong.
-4.
Everybody said negative 4 is wrong.
A number.
It's
You can't divide it.
can't do it. Okay? Now let's talk about what division actually means, okay? So let's do something like 6 divided by 2, okay? We're going to put this one over here on hold for a little bit. We're going to do 6 divided by 2, okay? Which means if I have 6 of something, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 2 of them and see how many times. So like, I'll say, here's 2 of them, right? I'm going to take away those. I'm going to give them to Eric. Then I'm going to take away these 2, and I'm going to give them to Michaela. And then I'm going to take away those 2, and I'm going to give them to Alcadio, right? So that's 3, right? Does everybody understand how I got 3? Right? You just take away the number they say, and you give them out. And eventually, once you get rid of them, all of them, you get your answer. Okay? Now let's do the same thing with 4 divided by 0. Okay? So, I'm going to take away 0 of them, give them to Kyle. I'm going to take away 0 of them, give them to Lisa. Take away 0 of them, give them to Moises. Take away 0 of them, give them to Isaac. Take away 2 of them, or 0 of them. How long am I going to take away 0 until I run out of things to take away? Am I ever going to come up with an answer? No, so there is no answer. Okay? Can't do it. All right. Now, just like we had additive inverses, right, the opposites, right, that went to 0, right? Here, for multiplication, instead of going to 0, that's not what we care about. We care about going to 1. So like if I have a number like 2, what number can I multiply 2 by so the answer is 1? Huh? No. 2 times 1 is 2.
0.2?
Nope. There it is, 0.5 or 1/2, right? 2 times a half is 1. Yeah. And you guys see anything that is in common between those two?
Yes.
What is it?
2.
The 2 is in common, right? The 2's are in common, leaving me with 1. All right. So before I go on, let's do a couple more. So let's. What's the multiplicative inverse of 3? 1. Yeah, 1/3, 1 over 3. What about negative 7?
Negative 1/7.
There we go. And how about pi?
1 over 5.
1 over 5. So it's always going to be 1 over the same number. All right? All right. Now, dividing fractions is tough. So instead of dividing, we're going to multiply. Okay? Because of multiplying fractions, right, we did it earlier, and it's easy, right? You just go top number times top number, bottom number times bottom number, and we get a new fraction, right? So here we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Have you guys seen this word before, reciprocal?
Yep.
Yeah. Which means what? To do what to a fraction?
Limit.
Yeah, you're going to flip it over. Bottom becomes top. Top becomes bottom. All right? All right, so here I have x divided by y. X is negative 3/4. Y is negative 2/3. Excuse me. So what this looks like is negative 3/4 divided by negative 2/3. Right? Does that look ugly? Yeah, it does. All right? But do you guys see how this is a fraction divided by a fraction? You guys see how that fraction divided by a fraction? So instead of writing it as a fraction divided by a fraction, I'm going to change it to multiplication because multiplication is easier. So I'm going to leave the first part alone. I'm going to change the division into a multiplication. And then I'm going to take this bottom fraction and I'm going to flip it so I get 3/2. What sign should this be? Negative. Right? The negative doesn't go away. Now we can multiply it and it's pretty easy, right? We have a negative times a negative, which is going to be a positive, right? Now do I need to write the plus sign? No, but I'm just doing it for right now. What's 3 times 3? 4 times 2? 9/8. That's my new answer. Or 1 1/8, right? All right. What's next on this thing? All right. So we have 2 homework assignments, right? Do them on the same page. Okay, we'll grade them all at once and put them in as one assignment in the grade book. This kind of looks like a lot, right? Because there's no odds or anything like that. But what type of problems are we doing again? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. We should be able to run through these pretty quick.